Unity family, we're back again on the AfricaUnity platform. My name is KingIdris and I'm here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on in Africa and international community. My people, today we're going straight to South Africa. We'll be talking about the only white settlement in the whole of Africa, that no black people in Africa is even welcome or accepted. You can come there for education, to go to school, just to go for their institution, but you can live there. It's only meant for the Africans, for the people that speak the Afrikaans language in South Africa. And the reason why they found this, according to history, they said is to continue apartheid in South Africa, like the only safe haven for Africans in South Africa after apartheid. And this place was formed together in 1991.
Okay, actually I'm not a racist or anything, but I can't live with that people.
We don't want people's money. We don't want people's handouts. We as Orania want larger recognition, greater recognition. And I think that is not too much to ask. Actually, I think that's very reasonable.
The President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, just signed into law land expropriation without compensation, meaning that land and other assets can be taken from people and be redistributed as the ANC government see fit. This means that Afrikaners are yet again heavily under fire from a communistic regime. What is the impact on Orania and how will Orania react? Firstly, Orania is in Africa and everything is unpredictable in Africa. However, we trust in God, the institutions that we have built, our friends and more, that we will keep Orania safe and protected to the best of our ability.
We found in 1991, before the real South Africa country started over in 1994. So my people, a lot have been happening this week because a lot of people have been speaking about this. It is new to some people, but it is not new to me. I've known about the Oranian for a long time, and a lot of people have stepped in the energy to showcase this to the people around the world. One of the most prominent YouTuber from Africa, from West Africa, his name is Wodemaya from Ghana, really take his time to go over to South Africa. So when this brother have this documentary, a lot of people was in shock because it just after Wodemaya went to South Africa, a lot of people went out like, wow. They were surprised that there's a country, there's a small town that is trying to become a country on their own terms, that they try to do things for themselves. They have their own security, they have their own schools, they have their own money, they have their own banks, they have their own everything. So when this brother asked, like, why do you people have to continue this, because it has been abolished after the apartheid era, like why do you people have to start this all over again? Like how the most population of the blacks feel, because 81% of the people living in South Africa are blacks South Africa, while by 8.9% of white people living in South Africa are white South Africans. So the blacks have more population, and now with the statement of Trump that he said the whites should be coming back to the United States of America because of land dispute, a kind of issue that they've been having for a long time. Ever since 2010, they've been killing a lot of white farmers, like a lot of people have been talking about this, and the black people are saying we want our land for ourselves.
In 2010, Eugene Terra Blanche, a controversial figure and leader of the far-right political movement in South Africa, known as the Afrikaner Weerstandsbeweging, AWB, was murdered on his farm in Ventersdorp. On April 3, 2010, Terra Blanche was attacked and killed at his farmhouse. He was reportedly beaten with a blunt object, sustaining fatal head injuries. 2 individuals, Chris Malangu and a minor, were arrested and charged with his murder. The motive behind the murder was initially reported as a dispute over unpaid wages, as both accused individuals had worked for Terra Blanche. However, the case also drew attention to the political and racial tensions surrounding Terra Blanche's controversial beliefs and the legacy of apartheid in South Africa. The trial of Malangu and the minor began in 2012. Malangu pleaded not guilty, claiming that he acted in self-defense after an altercation with Terra Blanche. The minor claimed to have witnessed the attack, but denied participating in it. In 2013, Malangu was found guilty of murder, and the minor was convicted of housebreaking, theft, and defeating the ends of justice. The murder of Eugene Terra Blanche sparked debates about race relations, political extremism, and the lingering effects of apartheid in South Africa. The case received extensive media coverage both within South Africa and internationally. It remains a significant event in the country's history, reflecting the complex challenges faced during the transition from apartheid to a democratic society.
We're advocating for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to have a look into the country and to the political stance what's happening here. With regards to the government corruption that's happening, I think most of the country, I love my country and I love the diversity that we have. You can see I've got South African socks on. I support my country and my country supports me.
Fortunately, the truth of the 30 years is that we have a divided country that focus on a point to a government is literally placing policy and positioning South Africa as a divided nation. And in that in itself, it corrupts in different levels. It brings the concept of peace and reconciliation.
Ever since the new president of the day in South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, became the president of South Africa, there have been a lot of lands that they said should go back to the black people in South Africa, where President Donald Trump has said he's not going to send no aid to.
Joined by a farmer, Ruan Krokamp. So maybe just confirm if indeed you are Afrikaner and you are South African.
Goeiemiddag. Ja, ek is 'n Suid-Afrikaner by bloed en ek sal altyd ene wees. Ek sal nie in 'n ander land kan bly nie.
Yeah. You won't go and live in any other country. But what do you then make of this executive order, which has so much implications for South Africa?
Well, all I can say is that Donald Trump must leave his things in America and we can stay in South Africa. So, ja, dis ons land en ons wil hierso bly.
What are you farming?
I'm farming broiler chickens now and we're starting with pigs also. Yeah.
So in other words, you are not going to take up this offer by the Americans for you to go and be a refugee in the United States?
No, I'm not a refugee. Me, I come from South Africa. I'm indigenous from here. Yeah, I'll maybe go take a holiday there, but I won't go to stay there. Yes.
He says that the government of South Africa is doing very bad things to you and your community. Is that the sentiment you have?
Well, no, our government is very good to us. They actually just fixed our road there on the gravel road and they're building RTP houses for the people, and that actually boosts our business because now there's going to be more people buying chickens from us and eggs and also pig meat and so on. So I think that the government is actually doing good for us now.
The organization AfriForum is taking the flag, with many South Africans blaming them. On the one hand, they are saying that they are fighting for the rights of the minorities, the Afrikaners in this country. Where do you stand on this whole issue, particularly where people are blaming AfriForum for this mess we find ourselves in?
Well, I don't know about AfriForum because I don't know anything about him. So, yeah, I can't answer that. Sorry.
Yeah, but generally, do you see any future for you and the Afrikaner community in this country?
Yes, there's a very good and bright future for us. I've got my son. He's also, we are working hard for him for a future here. So I wouldn't see him growing up in another country. I don't think we would survive in another country.
What then would be your message to people who, both South Africans and Americans, who are spreading this message that the government in South Africa is persecuting Afrikaners community?
I think they should stop spreading lies and propaganda because it's all fake news. So yeah, they should stop spreading propaganda. There's crime in every country. So I mean, we solve our own problems here. So yes, thank you.
All right, Ruan Krokamp is a farmer. Maybe let me bring into the conversation your partner. Her name is Leslie N. Munro. His views may not be your views.
I think they should get rid of the BBE because that would allow everyone to get a job. because we can't get a job. So that's we are trying to form.
Africa and some other side in Africa like Kenya, like Uganda, and most of them have been speaking out. Even Cyril Ramaphosa himself have already spoke out about this. Let's listen to this. I'll be right back.
We are witnessing the rise of nationalism, protectionism, the pursuit of narrow interests, and the decline of common cause. This is the world that we, as South Africa, a developing economy, must now navigate. But we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
A lot of South Africans really talked about this, like, can this happen in Europe, where there will be a town in Europe that it will only be for the black people, and there won't be no white people accepted or allowed to even stay or start a life in that small town. Can this happen in Europe? Let's listen to South Africa people. I'll be right back.
And that is exactly how Orania was born. Now, Orania, the piece of land, was originally actually part of a water project of the apartheid government. There was an attempt to build a dam. As you know, the Orange River runs through Orania. It bisects Orania. Kind of ironic, because Orania is all about breaking people apart and bisecting different cultural traditions and not allowing them to come together. But there was this project to build a dam on the Orange River, and the apartheid government effectively sent a whole lot of people to go and work there. Now, of course, there were the usual apartheid engineers and project managers, all of whom had to be white by apartheid's twisted racist ideology. But of course, they had to have people who worked for them, the manual laborers. So as you know, in apartheid South Africa, white people did all the well-paying work, and it went, as you went further down the racial categories, there were certain jobs that couldn't be done by black people, but usually manual menial tasks were all done by black people.
When apartheid ended in South Africa, many of the white settlers left. They left for a variety of reasons, but many of them left because they were not there for the love of South Africa or the love of South African culture or people. They were there for the love of domination. That is how an apartheid regime comes to be.
After the Ghanaian YouTuber exposed this, a lot of people came to better understanding about what is going on in South Africa. South Africa have their own issue. There be tons of issue, and most of the time, the black people in South Africa mostly have been brainwashed to switch their attention on the immigration and to the black people that comes from other African countries like Nigeria, like Zimbabwe, like Botswana, that they share border with South Africa, but now they don't have no means of business or nothing with South Africa because of the way the people, the black people in South Africa have been treated. People from Botswana, people from Nigeria, people from Kenya, the neighboring countries to South Africa, the way they have been treated, even people from Lesotho, that they have their own existence inside South Africa. It's a country inside South Africa. Most of them have a lot to talk about South Africa. Like, why don't you channel your energy to the white people, white farmers that have been controlling your country for a long time? Why do you channel the energy on immigration? So a lot of people have a lot to talk about South Africa, but Wodemaya really exposed a lot about what is going on in Orania. Orania is just a settlement that should not be in Africa, because you people know I'm not in here to put nobody down. On this platform, I talked about unity, I talk about togetherness, I talk about oneness. It's all about unity, it's all about one people, it's all about one togetherness, it's all about oneness, it's all about one love on this platform. I'm not in here to pull nobody down. I want a better settlement and a better understanding of life for people. I've seen a lot of issues have already happened in South Africa. Even Mandela welcomed the existence of all South Africans, and they said there are some South Africa that be saying from the beginning of time that the main South Africans, like the San people, colored people in South Africa, they're part of the main people that have been there from the beginning of time. Let's listen to the South African. I'll be right back.
I want to tell Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa himself, he must change his attitude. They must recognize the colored people. We were here first. Yes. The Koyan San was here first. This is our country. The country belongs to the colored.
What would you say, Ma, to those that say perhaps this might have some racial undertones to it?
No, we are not racist. We are not racist.
So my people, a lot of issues are becoming on. So the Oranian want their independence. They want to stay as their own country, but they're too small. Orania is just a small town. It's just a small town of 2005 population, mainly white people. Even the visitation people that come from other country that comes straight down to South Africa, they're mainly white. If you're black, you're not welcome in this neighborhood because South Africa have huge history of racist attack. Let's check this video out. I'll be right back.
So I made it to Orania. I don't know how many of you have heard about this town. It's a town within South Africa around the northern Cape of South Africa. And this is the town that, I mean, online it's very controversial because to the people online, it's a whites-only town. But after coming in here, it's rather an Afrikaner-only town. But why is it only Afrikaner though?
Orania is a effort to preserve our culture, our heritage, our religion, to create a space for us here in the Karoo. So we've built the town here. We have created infrastructure here. We've done it all with our own money, using nothing from the government, getting no grants, no subsidies, not a cent from the government. So we are trying to build a place for our people to preserve our language and our culture.
People say that Orania is racist. Do you believe in that? Because I'm actually the only black man in here.
I don't think that's true. I think if you walk down the street, you will see that there are people coming into the shops from surrounding areas as well. So there's many people visiting Orania. Orania, if the question is Orania racist, the Orania idea, in my opinion, is not a racist idea. Will you find racists here? Like in every other place on earth, I'm sure you will. But the idea of preserving our culture is not a racist idea.
So you mean that everyone is allowed to visit, but only Afrikaners can live in here? That's what you mean?
The way I see it is only Afrikaners wants to live here, because what we're building here is a project for Afrikaners. It's for people who want to build. It's a freedom effort for Afrikaners. So people visit us from all over the world, but to embrace the struggles of Orania, to help build, to help contribute to something here is mostly, well, 100% Afrikaners doing that.
I want to say thank you, and yeah, thank you. Let me just continue from here. So, I mean, we just did a whole full video, and I believe that you all need to check it out. For me, it's a very sensitive topic and also a very controversial one. But one thing that I would say, I might not agree with whatever happens in here, but there's one thing that I believe that the entire continent of Africa needs to learn from. And
so you see, everybody have their opinion about what is going on in Africa, in South Africa. So Wodemaya, the prominent YouTuber from Ghana, is just the only one that just is not even the only one. Even BBC have had their news company have been there to share this history, to share this rumor, to share this history, to share this story out to people around the world. And the first time people heard this, they were scared. A lot of people have ran out from South Africa. White farmers have ran out from South Africa to Australia. A lot of white farmers, a lot of them. And the people in South Africa, there's some people still saying if they let them go away, what will be the future of South Africa, because they saw what happened to Zimbabwe.
I'm very interested when you talk about we and they. We're roughly the same age. I was 12 when Madiba was released from prison, and I was 14 when the election happened. I'm a medical doctor. I work sometimes 160-hour weeks. I work sometimes 18 hours a day, and I own property because of that reason. And it sounds to me that you're suggesting that I should do all that work and come to this point in my life and now just hand away my property. And that concerns me.
You know, you are an exceptional case. If you are to stand up and say, I went to school and I'm a medical doctor and the property I have is because I went to school and I bought it. But most of your people didn't buy any property, they inherited it. So it's an exceptional case. No, you can disagree, but the reality is that you are in possession of a land that was stolen from us. And we want it back without any apology. We want that land back, and we are going to work together. I can tell you now, whether you are in denial or not, the demand for the land is growing and people are becoming impatient. And we don't want Zimbabwe here. We don't want Zimbabwe in this country. It has to be done legally, procedurally, in a manner that is not going to put the country and the economy in a disaster.
And some other side in Africa, like Zambia, they have the same structure before the former president of Zambia did the same thing in Zambia, and the outcome was very, very bad. The former president of Zimbabwe did the same thing in Zimbabwe, and they very, very bad. So my people, I'm not out here to talk about racist attack. I'm not out here to put nobody down. I'm just out here to talk about the history and give you guys the prolific insight on what is going on the ground in Africa and international community, because Orania, as we're speaking now, is part of Africa in the southern side of Africa. So my people, just a quick one to give you guys what is going on, and the main topic that is trending now in Africa, why Wodemaya is trending. The video make 1.7 million views in one day. So a lot of people really want to know about the development and what is going, because of the xenophobia attack that be happening in South Africa to most of the immigrants. A lot of things that be happening in South Africa. Even some people in Africa don't even know what is going on over there. If you ask a lot of people, the country, a black country in Africa that I don't want to go to, most of the Africans, they will tell you is South Africa. And it's not like Nigeria had problem with them. Even Botswana have more problem with South Africa than Nigerians. They have put embargo on South Africa. They have bound South Africa products, even bound Botswana products in South Africa. There is a lot that is going on in this side in Africa. So my people, just a quick one on the platform today. I'll be coming to an end of the segment today. I'll be saying one Africa, one people, one unity. And can this happen in Europe? I don't think this can happen in Europe. It can only happen in Africa, because a lot of people think we have nothing to offer. We can't even fight for ourselves. We don't even have the adequate military to go to the right realm to fight for our freedom or for our rights. So there's a lot of issues going on in a lot of places in Africa. It's not only in South Africa, but as for now, we know Orania is only in South Africa. That's the only kind of settlement in the whole of Africa. So my people, have become to another segment today. I'll be saying one Africa, one people, one unity. Thanks for all the people that will be checking out this platform. Everybody that will be checking out my program on my platform. I really appreciate you guys. I'm all here for unity, for togetherness, for oneness, for all African people. So thank you. One love, one unity.